Anybody that's been to the Pinta knows I don't want his pork chop, I want his life. Okay, but today we're gonna talk about mechanical advantage drop sets. So I was 16 years old back in 1997, and I was working at this gym. It's called Santa Barbara Gym Fitness. I was in Santa Barbara, California. I was actually managing this so-called hardcore gym. And this was a weird era in time. This was like kind of when Bozu balls and just functional goofball crap was being introduced. I mean, there was some of the worst, like, just antithesis to results-driven personal training I've ever seen. It was just, I guess, the beginning of the sort of market. Terrible stuff going on. But in all this darkness, just a ray of light came in. So I was sitting there, and these two huge jacked up ex-cons came to the gym. Not only turned to be jacked up ex-cons, they are also bouncers at the local strip club. So I was pumped to get to see these guys work out. And then the eye candy they brought in from the gentleman's establish was very nice to a 16-year-old boy as well. Anyways, they're like, hey, can you help? They told the strippers to go off and do cardio or something. They're like, hey, can you help us with our workout? I'm like, hell yeah, can I help you? I'm pumped. So anyways, this gym was a supposed hardcore gym, only had dumbbells up to 120 pounds. So what they did is they put the incline at a 45-degree, a steep incline. So did as many reps as possible right there. And they said once they hit failure, lower it. And they showed me where on they said, okay, put it down to this hole or whatever. So that was about a 30-degree incline. So they hit failure at 45 degrees, said lower it to 30 degrees. Okay, they didn't say lower to 30, just showed me. Then they said after that, lower it to here, and that was about 15 degrees. So what they did about 15 reps, and they hit failure at the 45 degrees, about a 7 or 8 at 30 degrees, about 6 or 7 at 15 degrees. So it was sort of like a drop set as they hit failure, instead of peeling off plates or whatever, they just improved their mechanical advantage or the leverage right there by making it a somewhat easier exercise. So it's similar to like a rest pause or something. Like, okay, this is pretty cool. So that's how I got introduced to mechanical advantage drop sets. So I got to, then we started working out more and stuff. Actually wrote about a couple of these guys in Jailhouse Strong, and it was just a big fun thing. But anyways, so that's the whole point of kind of mechanical advantage drop set, is instead of lowering the weight, you do a variation of the exercise and make it easier. So you might change if you're doing like a bench press or a curl, you could change your grip. A squat, you could change your stance. You change the angle of the exercise so you don't actually drop weight. You make the exercise quote unquote easier by improving mechanical advantage. So this is how I got introduced to it, but then I actually learned more about it later on from Charles Poliquin. So I was at, working these gyms, reading these after these guys, ended up reading like the Poliquin principles, just sitting there, and okay, that's what I saw these guys do. Because you think about it, in prison, it's sort of like a breeding grounds, for innovation, because there's not a lot of equipment, and prisoners have all day to work out with their body weight in their cell, but on the yard, back when they had weights, they didn't have very much time to do it, so they had to get it done quick. And you don't want to give up, you don't want to give up your space. So this is like sort of like a commercial gym. A lot of time is kind of like purgatory. You're not, at least you get to work out. So I wouldn't call it hell, but it ain't a whole lot better. I mean, so that's the thing, is you get like trapped in, like, say you're like Manhattan's Upper East Side, and every hooligan from 3 counties is in there working out. There's no space. These kind of mechanical advantage drop sets can allow you to park your ass on that incline, for instance, and just hit it that way. So it's very commercial gym friendly. There's a lot of parallels to commercial gyms and prisons in that regard. So anyways, let's talk a little about why this works. You got traditional drop sets. So those are like an example of free weights. If you're doing, say like a barbell curl, say you put 3 10s on each side of the barbell. You hit failure, someone takes a 10 off, go forward. So usually on the same movement, you're gonna drop it by about 20-30%. Each time. On the example, you do like strip sets, we strip it off. On a machine, so you're doing like lateral raises, you hit failure in the lateral raises, lower it by 20 to 30 cents, but just moving up the pin. Got the famous run the rack like Dorian Yates used to do, you just go down the rack. Okay, usually about 3 drop sets or so. Okay, so then we have, and so what this does is sort of, I think, like, why this is, I don't know why more people don't use strip sets. I really don't. Like, I don't know if they're not cool anymore or what, but like, it's a great way to get a lot done in a short period of time, because you start off with the high amounts of muscular tension with a heavy weight. And then as you get lighter, you prolong the time under tension. So it's just really a wonderful thing, you know, for hypertrophy. Okay, so rest pause. An example I would use is like if we use 80% of your max. Okay, you take it, do as many reps as you can, and you don't lower the weight. So prison yard favorite, Jailhouse Strong Pig Iron program. It's one of the only strength programs I know, or the only where that's built in there. So you do 80%, as many reps as you can, rest 15 to 20 seconds, repeat that again, rest that 15 to 20 seconds, and repeat that again. So basically one rest pause is basically 3 mini sets without actually dropping the weight, short rest intervals in between. So obviously it's a great stimulus for size and strength, prison yard favorite, and just a beautiful thing. Okay, so cheating. Why in the hell would you cheat? Usually most people cheat to get an unfair advantage. That's why in real life most people cheat. When you're cheating correctly for bodybuilding or strength, that's not the reason. This isn't to make it easier. It's to make, you think Branch Warren's like doing cheat form to make his workouts easier? He's doing it to make it harder. So what you do is you know, once you hit failure, you might use a little bit of momentum just to swing the weight, use enough momentum to get past the sticking point. It's nothing beyond that. It's not, you know, just some crazy whatever, you know, hoopla to get the weight up. It's to make it harder. So you focus every ounce of your being on the muscle you're working to quote unquote cheat. Okay, but you don't lower the weight. So what this does is you extend the set, you get more time under tension, and you're doing it to make it harder, not to make it easier. Okay, so mechanical advantage drop sets are sort of like the ultimate hybrid of those. They give you a lot of advantages of those techniques, because when you no longer continue with a mechanical advantage drop set, you can you just extend the set by making the exercise quote unquote easier, similar to what you do with cheating. Rest pausing, you extend the set by not reducing the weight, by taking the short mini breaks. So on, let's just say for example, squatting, you start off with a front squat, you go into an Olympic squat, you know, a power squat, so you get that little break in between there while you do that, and it's sort of like rest pause in that regard. So then with cheating, you, like I said before, you extend the set, and with a drop set, you keep on going, so you get that more time under tension by making it easier by reducing the weight. Here you keep the weight heavy, but you don't reduce it. So there you get drop sets require a reduction in intensity. This reduces intensity slightly by making it positional to your advantage. So this basically takes advantage of all of those different techniques. Okay, so now that you've been introduced to the mechanical advantage drop sets, let us know what you think of them after you try them out. So here's some other ways you can use similar concepts, okay? So I call it, the first one is isolation to compound. So what you would do there is, for instance, if you're doing a dumbbell fly, and I want you guys to think your own creative combinations here. So think dumbbell fly for chesticles, then you go into a dumbbell press when you can no longer go. Henceforth, isolation to compound. Okay, the next one for back arms would be skull crusher to close grip bench. That's another one, okay? So then you could do another one be just bent over reverse dumbbell flies to bent over dumbbell rows. Okay, the next one, already touched on here a little bit, was changing your grip or your stance. So you just go, these are just the typical ones. You think, you know, close grip to wide grip. Those are another way to do this. Okay, then another one I have not touched on yet is, we talked about cheating at the beginning of the video, is you go from strict and you go to cheat. So what I mean by cheat is not trying to gain some unscrupulous advantage over an opponent or anything like that. Cheat is to make you grow and make this harder. Okay, so what you do is, for instance, when you can do strict lateral raises and when you no longer do them strict, use just enough momentum to get past the sticking point, finish out that way. Curls, start with a very strict curl, then you use just enough momentum to get past that way. Now you have mechanical advantage drop sets. They're gonna have, you know, a prison yard favorite. Let us know how you like them.